Good morning, IFalls. Sound test. Good morning, IFalls. Sound test. Good morning, IFalls. Sound test. Okay. I better turn that off now. Thanks for tuning in. I just had to make sure that we were cooking with sound today. Thank you for coming to the first Good Morning IFalls show. I actually don't plan on always having a keyboard and doing stuff like this, but I actually have my son. He's helping out with the show, but he's on vacation for the next 2 days, so we don't have him. But the show will get better. This is going to be the worst that it's ever going to get. So make sure to tune back in as time goes on. I'm going to develop the segments a little more. My name's Ted Saxton. A little bit about myself. I am the co-owner of Small Town Tech, along with the world's greatest partner, Jim Yunt. I have tried to get him in here, and he's got to fit it into his schedule. He works a lot, but 8 a.m. isn't working for his schedule yet, but it might be as time goes on. He's a very charismatic dude, nerdy dude like myself. We have a good time together, and we always have good conversations. So we'll try to get him co-hosting every now and then. I'm always open to guests, and so if you have something to say, I'm not going to reach out to everybody. I don't have time for that. I run a real business, small town tech, in the meantime. And so that's kind of where my main focus is. It takes a lot of my energy. And in fact, the reason why I started doing this show at 8 a.m. was because I was working until 5 a.m. And in fact, last night, I actually worked until about 3 a.m. I shouldn't have, but I was working on today's show and hoping to make it at least good enough for a debut show. Give me some grace because I promise that this is the worst that it's ever going to get. All right, let's get on with it then. Well, I got someone outside my store that wants in, and they're not going to be able to get in. Okay, so I created a special page for this script, for this show. Let's get all the way back up to the top. And let's talk about some of it. I have some things I want to highlight. Let's make sure that we're doing the right scene here. Yep, we're all set. So I have some things I want to highlight. First off, this is my website, iFalls News. This is not a public-facing page. However, it's also not private. If you went to this one, it's not behind a paywall yet. I probably will put it behind one just because I might end up putting content on here that is not publishable. So, but that's not the case for right now. We have the weather. This affects you, especially if you're working outside. And I have an awesome weather page. Let's see if I already have it up. Powered by Windy. And the cool thing about it is you have all this other crazy stuff that you can do with it. And I think there's even like a fire danger on here that I think is accurate. Super cool. Let's see, where are we? It looks like we're maybe in yellow. Don't quote me on that. I'm not looking close enough. Yeah, there we are. We're in yellow. All right. So, good place to check the weather, but honestly, you don't have a shortage of places to check your weather. The reason why it's on my site is because if you're scrolling through something anyways, then you're going to have a little look-sees at it. Another cool thing that I really like, because I like to take pictures of sunsets, and now, hopefully sunrises, since my schedule is going to change, is this has the sunset, sunrise, nautical dusk, nautical dawn, astronomical. I think that's when it's the best to see the stars. Unfortunately, one of my favorite things to do these days is try and go see the northern lights. And man, I've got some pictures. There was one time where it was literally the most beautiful thing. Me and my wife were out watching it, and like we couldn't shut our mouths couldn't stop dropping on how amazing it was. It was so cool. Unfortunately, Canada's smoking about 40 Marlboro Reds a day up there, sending it down to us. So we're the visibility is leaves a lot to be desired these days. So we're not we're not we haven't been trying to make it out at night. There's still pretty sunsets, and actually the smoke can make for some pretty sunsets, but yeah, we're all smoking packs of cigarettes a day, well, minus the carcinogens, I guess. We're all smoking packs of trees a day, pines. All right, so my first segment I actually want to do is something I'm going to call good news. And every day, every episode, I want to cover a local nonprofit that's just kicking ass. And also, like, even if they're not kicking ass and they're just trying their best, I think that that's important too. So we're going to highlight the good in our community. Servants of Shelter is an absolutely incredible organization. The person who runs it, although we haven't spoken in a little bit, is a good friend of mine, and she is probably one of the best human beings just I've met. There's about 20 people in this town that I hold in this high regard. Not to say that there's not more, but there's 20 that I hold in high regard, and she's definitely in that 20 because, yeah, that woman is a saint. Not to, I don't know if saying that woman's sexist or not, but anyways, she is great and just an absolutely fabulous organization. I wanted to talk a little bit about like if you go to like other communities, even in northern Minnesota, the homeless situation, unhoused people. I'm not always up to date, and I apologize. Really, I would like to say the right stuff. I just can't always keep up to date. I only have so much time. But let's say that they're unhoused people now. The problem is that in the rest of northern Minnesota, including the Iron Range, you can go to Bemidji, you can go to Virginia. There's a lot more homeless people, unhoused people out in the out on the streets. When you're riding the trails, there's a lot more on the trails with little tents or little huts that they lean tos, and you see a lot more of that. And I really love exploring. I have, literally anybody could be homeless. I have been poor. I have had pink notices on my door before, so I get it. And we're all just like one terrible situation, just away from losing our minds too, so I can't imagine what some of them have gone through, so I do have some sympathy, but it's definitely not ideal. So we can all kind of agree on, well, I shouldn't say we can all agree on that. I don't know if we can all agree on anything these days, but I wanted to show you a little bit about, they are hiring, I believe, and we're going to go to their website really quick. Are we? Well, first we're going to go to their Facebook page and see that they're hiring PT case manager for Blue Haven Family Shelter and PSH. I'm not sure what PSH is. They probably shouldn't use abbreviations, but honestly, they're good people. I'm not saying it's an easy job and it takes a special kind of person, but if you've got that big heart, reach out to them, see how you can help. And even if you can't do this job, I know that they have like a lot of just volunteers too. So let me just double check to make sure everything's going good still. Yep. Looks like we're still streaming, so that is good. And we have about 1 million viewers going right now. Just kidding. We'll end up with probably a couple thousand by the time it's all done. We're also going to chop up and clip this over time, and so the relevant stuff will you can watch what you want to watch. All right, I'm not getting ahead to that one yet. All right, let's see. A little bit about them. They provide 11 units of low barrier apartment-based shelter with case management service. Each unit is fully furnished and has a private, they actually have a few different things on here that they have. They have permanent supportive, because they have different facilities. We all know that they have the, and they got a bad rap for this, but it ain't their fault, that siding on the, on their hotel that they took over. First off, I absolutely love that somebody tried to express themselves with Disney characters and didn't give two hoots about the copyright laws, right? That's kind of funny. But because why would you? It's it's painted on your building. But but like they got a bad rap because it ended up being, it's not a shelter, it's actually I believe they call it like permanent housing, or it's not like a homeless shelter like you would traditionally think. I think these people in certain ways pay rent, or I'm not 100% sure, but anyways, I don't think that they would call it a shelter. And but it did have a bad rap, partly and because it kind of looked run down. But I knew, because they're actually a client of mine through Small Town Tech, that they had all, like they had the funds acquired to do all this siding, and that whenever you get the new siding, and I knew what also they had, some other facility stuff that they had planned, and I was like, yeah, this is actually gonna look pretty dang good, you know. So the improvement is much welcomed. The status of our community, I greatly appreciate it. And so, on behalf of our community, thank you, Servants of Shelter, and really support them the best you can. Dollars, volunteer time, spreading the good news about them. Just let people know they're a great organization, and keep on supporting them. All right, let's see what else we got on our next segment. It looks like it's 8:11 according to the sponsor clock. I'm really old school, and I like to have everything kind of like retro, so that's why I got a retro alarm clock. All right, so featured business. This is another segment I want to do, and this time I want to talk about Border Bob's. They are a locally owned company, and it is, and so on the information I have about them, it says that it is owned by Jason and Heather McBride. Great people. I do know that their daughters do a lot of it. So I don't want to discount their daughters if their daughters are also part owners. They do a wonderful job with the marketing. And that's actually kind of what I wanted to highlight about them was, first off, if you go in there, they're my first place I look for a hat. I got to have a hat because I look better in a hat. For real. This hat was not purchased through them. This was purchased from my wife from Rainy Lake Houseboats, where she is gainfully employed, and it actually fits really good. But my first place I always check for a hat, because I buy 2 a year, is at Border Bob's. Sometimes they don't have my style or whatever, and that's fine, but they're the first place I look, because if you go in there, like, that is a hidden gem. I don't know if you, like, the previous owner, it was starting to go downhill towards the end. Nothing to do with him. He had, health issues, and life happened. So, nothing against that guy. He was doing a great job, and he maintained it for a long time. However, these people are rocking it. They're trendy. It's modern. Everything, you go in there and you will be surprised, like, for real. So that's actually what I wanted to highlight, is not only them, check them out. I think this is their Facebook feed, but they probably do more on non-old people feeds. I really kind of mostly use Facebook. I have other things like Instagram, and that's about it. I don't even have X or anything like that. I tried it out many years ago, and just wasn't for me. Didn't make a lot of sense, and also seemed extra toxic, even though Facebook, let's be honest, is pretty toxic. So, anyways, let's show you what I think is the coolest. Well, not the coolest. There you go. This is their website. Oh, should we accept their cookies? Should we, Heather? My answer is I'm going to accept them, all right? But you know what? You got to do what you got to do with them cookies. All right, so we have, this homepage right here, this opening shot of their building. I build websites, and I absolutely love this. Border Bob's LLC. Should we see? Let's see what we do. Let's send them a question. Oh, no, it's not live. Okay, that makes sense, because why would they be live manning it? I did live, I had technicians live manning our website, staffing it, and I had 3 technicians, and it was a lot of work, and we didn't even get that much requests over it. So this makes actually a lot of sense not to have that. Oh, let's go shopping really quick, and then we'll go back to the news next. Oh, do they not have their shop up? That's fine. You go into the store. They have tons of stuff. I'm sure they're working on their shop. They have lots going on. So, see, coming soon. They are a great team, and I wish them the best of luck. I know that they've historically been popular, and it's so nice because Ronings did all this work as well. And so to like have not a one horse town, I love it. I mean, we have other places too. So we have actually lots of places, but these are your big honking tourist places. But also, the reason why I'm highlighting it is because if you go in there, you'll be happy as a local person. Plus, all of us like around here, we all have the same darn Rainy Lake or Shay Shay hoodie, right? Like we all have the same stuff. All right, let's go on to our next segment. I have two more segments that I want to do. One is basically just covering everything that's going on. And then the other one is we're going to talk a little bit about the election coming up tomorrow. So stay tuned if you want to learn more about the election, and we'll cover that some more. All right, this is called the Latest 50. And this is something that I used. I'm not going to explain how I made it, but it basically shows content from all over the area. And so these are curated by me. They are this page, although you can get to it, it will not have this part right here will be behind a paywall. There's reasons for that. I'll explain them in a video that nobody will ever care about. All right, so we got Border Country Outdoors. What do they got going on? I had a lot of fun. Okay. This is actually, let me go back up to that really quick before we get on to the next one, because I see what the next one is. This right here, I love living in this area, and I suck at fishing. I don't have a snowmobile. I don't have a four-wheeler, mostly because I've been too poor most of my whole life. It is a goal of mine, moving out to the country, having that type of stuff, and I'm working up to it. And then, so I'm not in a hurry. You know, life doesn't need to happen all at once. That's why we have time. So anyways, but I do want to get more naturey, which also means IFalls News is going to have a bias against it in the meantime until I get a little bit more out there. Because I've been poor most of my life, I do like to go hiking a lot. I do like to go biking because those are cheap. I like to go kayaking. So there's still that type of stuff that I like to do. I would like to go fishing, and my wife loves fishing, and she loves ice fishing even more. But I just suck at it, and we don't go enough. But I would literally sit on the boat and stare at her while she fishes, and that would be the perfect day for me if it wasn't too hot. All right. Also, I'm not a wuss with the heat. I just, I don't like being hot if I don't have to. All right. Look at who this is. We've got Mrs. Beth Shermone, the superintendent of ISD 361, and I know what this says because I saw this yesterday. That they're proud to welcome her back, and we'll see if later on I can format this stuff right here any better. But it is what it is for now. All right, I met Beth. I interviewed her. She seems like a very nice person. I think she has a lot on her plate, and let's go back up to her while we're talking about her. Let's say hi to Beth. Hey, Beth. Anyway, she's a wonderful person. The interview I had with her, I talked over her too much, but I was actually pretty excited. I talked to her afterwards. It wasn't a big deal. And in fact, when we were pre-interviewing, that was part of why I was rambling so much, was because she was asking me questions before the interview, because I used to be, the chairperson of the school board. And for a few years in a row during some troubling times. And so that's what we were talking about. And so I kind of still had too much of that mode in my head, but that's okay. I'm sure she'll come back on. She, seems to be trying to make some changes at the school. She's new. So basically, it's hard, until somebody really hits their full stride and the culture starts to take effect, which starts to happen immediately, but not all at once. So we'll see. We'll keep a monitor on her. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt for now in her leadership roles. And I believe she has the kindness and the heart to pull it off, but we'll see if everything else works out. So, all right, what do we got here? Rainy Lake. What do they got going on? Oh, they're offering same-day appointments for all those things. Yeah, so we'll have businesses in here too. Oh, I should add, none of the businesses on here, other than if you see like a sponsor, they are not paying to be on here. You do not have to pay to be on this. My point with this is you're a business and you have something going on. People probably care about it, right? Like the business advertisements are the news these days. So we're going to take a look at some of them. So anyways, before heading to the emergency room, consider if a visit to Rainy Lake Clinic. Yeah, sometimes that's true. Like we overdo it. However, sometimes when you got to go, you got to go. You know what I mean? All right. Kutaska. Kutaska is great. Sometimes the Kutaska feed will have Grand Rapids stuff. I try to scrape it so it has International Falls stuff, but they're doing a home stretch workshop. They are a great resource for all of that type of stuff. Just love them. I won't talk about every little thing we come across, but like at first we will. Oh, what do we got? A benefit for Little Scott. Let's find out about Little Scott. We're going to be talking about benefits on here for sure. Scott was born in August 2023 with multiple medical conditions, including clubfoot, low muscle tone, hip dysplasia. Ooh, he's got this guy's got a rough start. He has already undergone multiple surgeries. I can't even imagine. We got to support this kid. Scott is currently in casting, which will last at least 2 more months, and he will continue to need therapy. Man, as a father, God bless these people. His family is doing everything they can, of course. Yeah, like our medical system's broken. You're going to hear me talking about that a lot on this, especially because our medical system locally is broken. This might not have nothing to do with that, but like, let's get some darn universal health care. Like, we're the most powerful nation in the world, still, hopefully, and we need to help the most vulnerable. Like, what are we doing? Come on. Like, sell a mega yacht and pay for a surgery. Have some damn kindness, people. All right. Happy National S'mores Day. Voyagers Conservancy. I love them. I hope that they come and talk to me. We got more Rainy Lake Medical Center. I believe I have this scrub, so like there's a limit on how much each person can put on here. So I think we'll only see like 5 or 3 at the most of Rainy Lake Medical Center. I'll tweak it over time if we need to. They post a lot, but like that's actually pretty good. So they have general surgery anyways, is what it says. So they do good marketing. All right, here's a couple more. I know that there's one more coming up, but this is the new principal debuting of Falls High School for the year 25-26. And it is Principal Melissa Tate. Let's see. I just want to make sure she doesn't go by. Yeah, okay. Want to make sure she didn't go by her nickname. And this is just all the accolades and how excited they are. I do have to say, I love that our school is corny social media. #believe. Nah, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with a little corny in life, right? I'm about as corny as they can come. Next up, we have the new principal of Falls Elementary School. I'm actually hoping to get both of these ladies individually to come on here, talk about our vision. I'll be super kind. I know they're crazy busy and it's not a priority for them. But I think, you know what? I think people would love to hear from them. And I think I'd get some good questions out of them that people would actually want to know and let them get some information out too. Happy to do that any morning. All right, so that's Principal Lisa West. Hello. I've only talked to her a little bit. Every interaction I've had with her, absolutely wonderful. She seems like a lovely person. All right, what do we got here? Northland Sales and Service, the Bass Tournament. Yes, let's talk about this. This is coming up August 20th. Get ready for it. We'll have more about it on our site later. Northland Sales and Service. We're going to go a little faster because we want to get to some of the more exciting stuff, the less businessy stuff. Chief Nursing Officer, right? Mary Gay Tate. That's an interesting name. I've never heard of I've heard of like a name similar to that, but not that one. The first outdoors value rig is for sale. Somebody help Mr. Crossaway buy his boat. I don't know if it sold or not, but PM him for questions. He actually one time took me on this very boat and my family and delivered all of our camping equipment to an island. It was during COVID, and you could get a group site, and we stayed in Black Bay. It was so beautiful, and we kayaked there, but we didn't want to haul all of our stuff, and it wasn't that far. So Brad offered to do that for us. A nice gentleman. We have some more fishing stuff. He actually helped with IFalls News a little bit, but he's running the college out there and stuff like that. He's pretty busy. That was an outdoor values photo. No place like home again. You know I love my thrifting. If you look around this place, you will see what I mean. I absolutely love it. What do we got? No place like home again has some canes or sticks, walking sticks, hitting sticks, slapping sticks, right? What was this? I don't want to scroll a whole bunch to give you guys a headache either, but leadership advocacy. What are you going to do with it? Who's it for? Kutaska Community Action. You can check that out. Tilson. They do a lot of cool stuff. Actually, let's see if I have the right cup here. No, I have two pretty much cups that are exactly the same. One I already finished. They did for us for Small Town Tech. I really like it. I had them do some water bottles for me once, and they were not very usable. It wasn't their fault. I picked tiny water bottles, and that was on me. I should have bought big water bottles and not cheaped out because I was giving them to my employees. Not like they were still, for a gift for an employee. They weren't that cheap. But, I wish I got some big ones because I have a big water bottle, and maybe I'll buy some and hand them out one of these days because I don't go anywhere without my water because you got to hydrate or dehydrate, people. All right. This is going to be over, I believe. Yeah, Rainier Days was fun. I didn't get to, it looked fun, I should say. I didn't get to participate. Here you go. You're volunteering for the bass tournament. You're one of those people who love it. I will say, if you're ever one of those people who've complained about it, there's your opportunity to make it better. That's the number one thing I hate about anything that uses volunteers. When it gets torn down on Facebook, man, it's not worth getting in fights for. But I'm just like, you know what? If you need to be the change in the world that you need to see. Not everybody has time, and I don't think that applies for everything. Like, I actually think government criticize as much as you want, but some of these events or nonprofits or whatever, they're just ran by regular people trying their best. And at that point, take a step back, get off your high horse, pull your hat out of your arse, and say thank you. What do we got here? Ronings has some stuff. Man, if you haven't been into Ronings, I'll have to try to get some footage of the inside or show their website or something. That place, that is gorgeous. They got like a little coffee shop now, all kinds of stuff. I almost thought about just moving my office to their top floor and being like, kick me out. I'm here for the Wi-Fi, bro. Let's see. What else they got? Who are these? The Coffee Landing, putting out their muffins. Got a beautiful sky from Who Do We Got? Probably a resort. Rainy Lake Visitor Bureau. You know what? I give them a hard time, but really they've been stepping it up. They've been doing a good job with marketing. They had a rough transition, I think, a few different times, maybe too many rough transitions. And now, you know what? We'll see how they do. I wish them the best. It's part of the reason why I started IFalls News, actually, is just because I didn't think it was the best thing out there. More Voyagers Conservancy. They do the coolest stuff. I'm going to try to get some of those guys on here. They're a customer of mine at Small Town Tech. And so we have a good point of contact for them. Border, GMC's hiring. Let's see. Somebody bought a car. I'm going to be honest. I get why they do this, and I understand how. I even read books on car dealerships and marketing and stuff like that. I'm not even joking about that. Because I'm obsessed with marketing, and I hate this. I'm not saying that they're bad for doing it. It's actually just a trend. Everybody's doing it. But for some reason, it's like, I don't know. Maybe they don't pressure you into taking a picture, because hopefully they don't take a picture of everybody they sell a car to. But I don't know. That's not for me. Like, my giant purchases are my business, but I'm kind of more of a private dude in that kind of sense, which is funny because I'm all over the internet. Open house. Ooh, we got this is coming up. Let's see where this is at. International Falls Public Library. They're going to have an open house art exhibit. Let's go check out that 4:30 to 6:30. I'll see if my family wants to go to that. Library board has a trustee meeting. This is pulled from their website. I used to be on the library board. It was a great experience. Buffalo chicken. When we order pizzas, if we order 2 pizzas, this is one of the 2 pizzas. I bet you this is from Sammy's. Yep, Sammy's Pizza. Called it. All right, let's see. Some gummies. Oh, I bet you I know who this is too. Happy Campers. This is actually a locally owned company, and that's why they're on here. Everything that they do is perfectly legal. They're licensed. It's cool. Give them a try. I am trying to think. I want to say I've had a couple of these. I don't do this stuff frequently, but I definitely want to try it out, especially because they were a local company. And it wasn't really for me, especially not that their price point was high, because the price point for all this stuff is high. But I was like, you know what? I don't even, I seldom drink. I will once in a blue moon. But I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if I want to pay for this. But I also, on the other hand, sometimes if my kids have gummies, regular ones, not this kind, I'll just wolf those. So maybe this would be better for you and stop me from eating all their gummies. Or maybe make me eat more. I don't know. All right, let's see. Got a stiff neck. Oh, is this the same company? They got CBD lotion. I don't know how that stuff works. Maybe they'll come on and talk to us about it. Oh, we got all kinds of stuff. They're doing local delivery. Looks like we're going to get hit up by 3 of them in a row. They must have just posted them all back to back. Got a new car for sale. We're getting towards the bottom, which means we're going to get towards the discussion of the voting. Another service that they're offering. Come out for lunch at Looney's. So these are from 2 days ago now, so we're getting a little older. So you're just going to see stuff from rainier days, which is no longer applicable. Kutaska. Looks like they had a senator. Lunch specials. The library. The restaurant. Who thinks... All right, Harley's my friend. Who thinks it was... I love the theme of the restaurant because I love that type of stuff. If you look around here, it's actually pretty cool. But the food library and the book library, why do we got to have 2? Come on, you couldn't call it... Actually, I don't know another word for library, so maybe that's why he called it that. Book vault. You couldn't call it the book vault, Harley? What the heck? All right. We're excited. Giants volleyball. What do we got here? Oh, Tilson's Bay. They're doing some more stuff. Learning Tree. Oh, let's talk about this because this is coming Wednesday, so I got to make sure to cover this again tomorrow. They give out the backpacks. I've helped raise money for this in the past or be a part of it. It was a while ago. But they gave out tons of backpacks, or maybe I went and bought school supplies. I don't remember. It was a few years ago, but they've been doing it for a while. And the reception for this is huge. The families greatly appreciate it. I don't think it has anything to do with income. Oh, wait, let's see. Oh, yeah. So you do have to be on one of these things. I don't know that they check you there, to be honest. Because why would you lie about that? I guess you could, but these are available on first come, first served basis. So they often have a lot though. And in the past, they've ran out, and in the past, they've had a few extra. They don't want tons extra, but I think they might save them or donate them to schools or something like that if they don't use them all. Maybe we can get somebody from Kutaska or the Salvation Army in here to talk about it. Library column, we'll cover library stuff a different time. Rainy Lake houseboats. My wife is out there working right now. Hey, hon, you're not watching this, you're working. All right. The next segment is called Let's Discuss. And today, what we're going to discuss is, let me get a drink. I've been talking for a little bit now, and I need to wet my whistle before we talk some more. I didn't even realize how long I've been talking. Every morning this show should go to about 9 o'clock or until I'm done talking, really. If we have guests in here, we'll wrap up at 9. So if you ever want to be a guest, Well, it'll be between 8 and 9. You can pick the time between 8 and 9, like if you only have 15 minutes or half an hour. I would recommend a half an hour of your time, even if it's only 15 minutes of air, because we're going to have to talk a teeny bit before you get on. Just especially if you're not used to live streaming and talking all the time. Obviously, I ramble a lot. I'm used to it at this point. I don't know why. Maybe I just love to hear the sound of my voice. I listen to myself back too, and I'm like, all right, good. I'm not an idiot. So, although sometimes I actually am like, why the hell did I say that? So, all right, let's discuss. International Falls special election, $2.8 million public works bond. The city of International Falls will hold a special city election on Tuesday, April 12th, 2025. That's tomorrow. It starts at 7 a.m. and ends at 8 p.m. Fire sale. Just kidding. So, where are you going to vote? We'll talk about that in a minute. What are you going to vote on? Shall the city of the International Falls be authorized to issue general obligation capital investment bonds in the amount to exceed $2,755,000 to provide funds for the renovation of the public works, equipment garage, and sewer vector garage in the city as requested by a petition of electors. Okay. By voting yes, by voting yes on this ballot question, you are voting for a property tax increase. So, if you like property taxes, this is your opportunity. Your polling places will be as follows. East Ward, you're going to go to the Covenant Church, Evangelical Covenant Church. Center Ward, you're going to go to Bob Wall's Memorial Union. And again, this is just for city residents of International Falls. If you are a county resident, y'all can watch us raise our taxes, but you don't get to be a part of it. West Ward, that's me. St. Thomas Aquinas Hall. They have it. That's where I usually go. They have it actually set up pretty good in there. It's kind of nice and wide open too. You're not shoulder to shoulder with anybody. I've never been cramped, even on federal presidential elections. So they do a pretty good job, the volunteers there. I'm going to be honest, I was a little surprised that they were doing 3 wards. I don't know all the rules behind it. I mean, 3 voting places, not 3 wards. Of course, all 3 wards need to vote. But, and then you could have absentee voted, which I think you can actually still do today, I think. But for more information, you can go to the City of IFalls website. All right, so we are going to talk about it a little bit. First off, I had AI I use for a lot of stuff. In this case, I used something called Claude AI, which did deep research and checked hundreds of sources. And I told it to prioritize the city website and the county's website in creating this information. So that's what it's all from. Anyways, so let's talk about it a little bit. Arguments for voting, yes, we already kind of know what it's about. Both garages are over 50 years old. So that's the thing about like voting on raising your taxes. It's always needed, right? Like you can always justify raising taxes if you need to. I'm gonna be real. Like at what point, is it not justifiable anymore? We just had our county taxes raised a lot by the assessor. I know we had a bunch of public information stuff about it, but one person pretty much decided all of that, and also maybe kept your taxes low for way too long. And we'll see. I invited him on the show or to do an interview back in the day. He turned me down. Maybe he's not I like to do interviews type of guy. He did reach out to me and tried to start a conversation. I just was like, you know what? I'd rather have it in public. Let's explain this to people, I'm not like some award-winning journalist. I'm like, hey, let's just talk in front of people and tell the truth, shame the world. Not mean? All right. I believe the city has around a $13 million a year budget. It's very similar to ISD 361s. I know because when I was the chairperson, Harley, my friend, was the mayor of City of International Falls, and he we talked about our budgets. They're pretty close to each other, which is kind of funny because one has to manage one little area, one has to manage one big area, but the city has a lot less employees, I believe, than the than the than the school district. So pretty much the arguments for voting for it is it's needed, right? Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, you can find all the information you need right there, I suppose. But I would like to cover more about voting no, because I think that's maybe a little less obvious. I think if you're already voting yes and you're kind of for it, but what you don't want to do is vote no because of the hype. Like right now online, it's pretty easy to go negative and say, this sucks, these people suck, or whatever. And I get that. I understand the tendency. I've been there. But in this case, let's just understand why people are upset, why people would vote no. Some residents saw a 40% tax increase. I do not know what mine is. Mine didn't jump up as high as some people's, but it grew. And that's like, and when I advocated against the last school referendum. That's what I was talking about. We are a poor community. If you look at the poverty level in this community, it is higher than most other communities that are similar to ours in northern Minnesota. So you're going to tax these people even more? No, it's ridiculous, right? Like, and I know maybe the lowest of income aren't homeowners, but homeowners are struggling too. And they are in this area because some people have owned their home forever, or it's a family home, or they're fixed income. So keep on raising our taxes, keep on killing our community. That's my opinion. What are some of the other things? Lack of inclusion. Yeah, I think people definitely online feel like they aren't being heard by the city council. And sometimes when you're not being heard, your vote is you're in this democracy is your voice. You heard that? It's corny as hell, but it's true. So if you're going to vote no, that's your voice. You're sending out a clear message to the city to get their act together, because it's not just this. This doesn't have to do with the ambulance, as far as I know. I'd love to have somebody from the city actually come in here and talk to me about this. I threw it out there online. I didn't send them a personal invite because I'm not doing that for everything. I just don't have that kind of time. I got a regular job. So if they want to come on here, they can come on here, but they literally have like tomorrow morning and people will have already voted. I guess I'd do something special if they reached out to me tonight and wanted to get the word out there, but I don't think that they're going to do that. So, which it's a shame. My guess is I don't think that it's going to pass. However, you do not know with these elections. Sometimes the silent majority is very silent. So how did we get here? Mayor Dill was another reason. This is actually a good point. Mayor Dill wins as a write-in candidate. That was entirely a protest vote, in my opinion. I did not vote for Mayor Dill, not because I, anything against him personally. I just had voted for Pete Kaler, hoping he was going to become the mayor. Pete's a very nice guy. No, some of that stuff during that hot mic incident kind of left a little bit of a character flaw there, but nobody's perfect, and I've certainly said stuff that I wouldn't want people to hear about them, but and you're an elected official, so what are you gonna do? Anyways, he's still a city councilor, and I think that was a big one. And then another thing that I have some key players down here, and I wanted to talk about Ed Bates. I message him. We message back and forth in a very unofficial way. We're not friends. Not like I got anything against the guy, but we'll just check in once in a while if it's relevant to each other. But he has his own kind of communication style. He uses a lot of the IFalls public forum to get his word out. If he wants to come on, I invited him on for an interview before, but it was a different thing. It wasn't the morning show. And he's kind of leading the charge on this, leading the charge on that recall vote. he had that shop set up for the recall where you could go and sign it for a certain amount of time. And he's one of the main guys advocating for this. I think he was kind of a little off base when he first started, and now he's kind of dialing it in and finding like his advocacy and his voice and stuff like that. So he's doing a good job. Let's see. Or I should say he's doing a better job of advocating. So here's one of the problems with the city council, but not just our city council, all small cities in government. I was actually talking to a previous elected official when he wasn't, I won't even give that too many details, but I was talking to this elected official, and he said that you could go to city councils or counties and literally sell them bacon trees because they are so desperate for any hope and prayer to get them out of their small town, ailments, whatever's making it hard for them because they're a small town. And so they're just so thirsty. Like, we've had so much economic development flops in this town. Some of that's through KETA for the county, or not, yeah, KETA through the county or whatever. And some things don't work out, right? But we've had some pretty colossal flops that haven't come around. And so, yeah, I think that some of this contention, I think the level it's gotten to nationally is awful. I think some locally is absolutely good for our community. And I've had actually public officials reach out to me at different times angry about what I said and about some things I've said. And I'm just like, listen to the people. Like, start listening. Like, your job is, like, you're a city council. You're not here to be rich. Just start listening to the people who elected you, not the ding dongs in your morning coffee shop. Actually, that's not true. Those morning coffee shop guys, legends. However, my point is, don't live in this echo chamber. These guys do, though, and it's not good. I know some get out there a little more, but like, I don't think some talk to that many people, and it's a darn shame. I also know that some of them have regular jobs and they can only do so much. So, it is what it is. Nothing's going to be perfect. We do got to give them some benefit of the doubt. We also elected them, and so, we picked them. And earlier when I said be the change you want to see and stuff like that, this is a good opportunity for something like that. I can't imagine after all this stress that all these guys want to rerun. So there'll probably be some seats vacant, and it'll be a good opportunity for some people to put up or shut up, because it's a tough job. When I was on the school board, I was so stressed out like all the time. It's actually why I got off. It just was unhealthy for me, because I took so much ownership of it, and I really felt like I was a part of the leadership team, and yeah, I took too much darn ownership of that thing. Now that I'm gone, it's like, whew, so much less stress. So grateful. In fact, somebody asked me one time if I was going to run. They heard I was going to run for city council. I was like, hell no. And I was like, and then they just LOL'd, and that was the end of that conversation. First off, pretty sure my wife would kill me. My family would think I've lost my mind, just because of all the things I've told them about my experience of being an elected official. It's hard to do. So anyways, that's going to be a wrap on our show for today. I really appreciate anybody who even watched it this long or comes back and watches it. And we'll end out with... We'll give you a view of outside while we're ending. Got some people crossing the street. They don't even know they're on camera. Adios.